Hi, this is Ann with Finance on the Offense, and today I'm going to go over 5 personal finance tips that you won't learn in school. All right, let's get started. When I was in high school, we really didn't have personal finance classes, but I did take a few classes that kind of touched on personal finance concepts. And in college, I took a finance class and a business class, and they did go over some good topics like what it's like to have a mortgage, making interest on savings accounts, and doing investments, but there are a few things that I really wish they would have focused a little more on. The first thing I wish they would have really focused on is finding a way to increase your income. Most personal finance classes go over saving and investing, but they don't talk about job jumping or getting a side hustle or things like that. Getting a new job every couple years has helped me to increase my income so much compared to if I'd stayed at my original job for my whole career. And focusing on a side hustle has really changed everything for me. There are generally 2 ways to increase your net worth. First, you can be frugal and just not spend everything you make, but the other side of the coin is just making more money. If you can find a way to make more money and be frugal, you've really got it made. The second thing I would like to see more focus on is the power of compound interest. Now, compound interest was touched on in the classes that I took, but the general concept and what it really meant for our financial well-being was sort of lost on us. I think compound interest and what it can do for you should be taught, retaught, and just kind of pounded into your brain in those personal finance classes. The idea behind compound interest is if you put a certain amount in every year, starting at a very young age, that money will snowball and you'll end up with way more than you actually ended up putting in, as long as you're able to get a good interest rate like 8%. 8% can actually be a conservative number if you're putting your money in something like a total stock market index fund. I'm out here on moneychimp.com because I want to show you what compound interest can do for you. So let's say we put in $10,000 at first. Every year we're going to add $1,000 to this, and we'll let it stay in there for 25 years. Our interest rate, let's say we're able to get 8% as an average over those 25 years. We'll let it compound one time annually, and we'll add our annual addition, the $1,000 at the start of the compounding period. So if we calculate this, after 25 years, we have put in $25,000 plus our original $10,000, so that's $35,000. And look, it has grown to $147,439. And the reason it's so much higher than $35,000 is this 8% interest rate and compound interest put together. The third thing I wish they would focus more on in these classes is the actual process of opening like a Roth IRA account. So going out to Schwab or Fidelity or maybe Vanguard and going through the process of actually clicking, starting an account, all the information you need, then adding money to the account, and finally buying investments with it. I think that the actual process of signing up for accounts for a 401k, Roth IRA, or even just a regular taxable brokerage is a very scary thing for people, and it keeps them from doing it. Now, 401ks, you actually have someone, usually an HR person at your job, who can help you do that. But the other 2 types of account, you're on your own. And so people just never get around to doing it because the process of signing up for the account is very scary to them, even though it's a very simple process. And if you want to know how to do it for an IRA, there will be a video right up here at the top of your screen. The fourth very simple concept I would like to see in more personal finance classes is to invest your raises. So if you've got a job and you've been living comfortably and you get a raise, don't spend the extra raise money. Actually take that entire amount and invest it. Just live on what you've been living on if you've lived comfortably. My parents were the ones to teach me this concept. It wasn't something I learned from a professor. This little hack can give you a big advantage and even help you retire early if you want. The last personal finance tip is to continue learning about personal finance on your own. You are in charge of your own finances and learning more about them. Almost everything I learned about finances myself came from personal finance books, YouTube channels, podcasts, blogs, and things like that. And even if you're in a great personal finance class right now, things are always changing in the finance world and you need to stay on top of them. When I was growing up, I feel like all the personal finance books available were kind of dry and really fact heavy and not very entertaining at all, but that has really changed. Books like Your Money or Your Life and The Simple Path to Wealth and even Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover are very entertaining. They're sharing a lot of stories about them personally or other people that they've talked to, and they really pull you in and help you to learn the concepts in a fun way. There are also lots of YouTube channels that their entire goal is to help you learn personal finance. One big problem that I see with personal finance classes is that they are taught to students who are still in high school who might not even be making their own money yet. They're telling them about mortgages, they're telling them about investments, and it's so abstract to these students that they just can't kind of absorb it. Personal finance ideas really started sinking in for me when I had a career. I was looking at buying a house. I needed to know about that. So I think it's always going to be a struggle for a student who isn't able to apply the concepts themselves. It's just the way it is. So hopefully they'll take the time when they're more invested in their career and they're able to see that personal finance is something that does apply to their lives. All right, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please click on the like button and I'll see you next week with another Finance on the Offense video. Thank you.